Hello, welcome to the stream. Welcome back. We're doing Alliance Opens again, where we pit teams that are signed up for the Alliance Open against each other for our own entertainment, and they get to win some small prizes. This week they're competing for 5 of the I forget the name of them. Calendar won a stack of clothes when he he sold his gold magnate, gave it away to charity, and in return CCP gave him a ton of the Frontier Safeguard t-shirts, so he's given some to me to give away to the teams for winning. So with us today we've got Alexi and Wrath helping in the background, and hopefully they'll chip in as well. And Black Bart Pirate is with me from Alliance Tournament 16 commentator fame. Hello.
Hello. Yeah, it's been a hot minute, but I'm doing this thing, so just trying to remember how to get overviews set up right now, but should be pretty good.
Yeah. We are just waiting for. We've got to first. So we've changed the format a little bit this week. We've only got 4 teams. As I predicted, the interest in Opens is dropping off now that we've got our 32 teams locked in place, and there is just over 2 months until the tournament. We've got kind of the sort of more serious teams, I guess, the more eager teams. Are kind of partnered up with various practice partners, so they're doing regular sessions, and Saturday night is obviously a big one for when people are off work and things, so tend to be tied up with internal practices at the moment. So we're down to 4 teams, but we've got 2 new teams this week, which is really cool. We've got 420 LLG, that's the short version of the name, I forget the full name, and Goonswarm, who are neither have taken part in Opens yet, and we've got them arriving on grid now, which is pretty cool. So they're just warping in. What have we got here? So, have you read the rules yet, Black Barbarian?
I've read them pretty well. The nice thing is that there's not any too much weird, new, exciting ships that. I know that we have our new ships that are coming in, but it looks like it's basically the same thing. I know that we have we're limiting stuff based on ship hull instead of the ships themselves, which I think is a really interesting take. Specifically, so we're kind of seeing it's 3 battleships and then 2 battleship and that kind of stuff. So from what I understand, you can only bring 3 of each specific ship hull size, and then there's points on that as well.
Yeah, so instead of being limited to maximum of any 1 or 2 or 3 years, it was 4 years and years ago, of any ship hull, we've limited it to class type. So 3 frigates, 3 destroyers, 3 cruisers, the exceptions being the logistics ships. So if you bring 3 cruisers, you can still bring a logistics cruiser. So here we've got 420 MLG is what I'm going to call them. Their full name is, let me double check because I want to read it out, it's quite long-winded. 420 MLG twin turbo 3000 Empire Alliance Reloaded, which caused a little bit of a complication with our draw, shall I say, the other day, but let's gloss over that for now.
That's a pretty long name. I don't know about that one. I think there's a point where you got to just be like, hey, look, guys, character limit, it's fine, don't worry about it.
Who was that team in the last Alliance tournament when was it just it was like one letter just repeated constantly for as many as you could. Oh god,
you're trying to make the whole joke about the Korean pro gamers, right? So when a Korean pro StarCraft player is playing a game, what they do is they make their names be barcodes, so you don't know who it is. So you can't be like, oh, I know I'm playing against Maru Stats Road. I've been watching a ton of StarCraft, so yeah, that's the joke.
I didn't know that's where it came from. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it was kind of doing a shout out to other esports, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've watched. I do watch other esports, but I've not come across that. I haven't watched much Korean StarCraft, I admit. So we're just waiting for the teams to be ready, and it looks like 420 already, so looks like both teams are ready. So Lexi, would you mind doing a countdown this week?
Sure.
Spare fingers to stop my mic keying up when I slam the keyboard. So we've got a Paladin setup from Goons. I think there's an unmanned setup. We've got 9 ships versus a triple Typhoon Typhoon setup. That's 2 Typhoon fleet issues and 1 vanilla Typhoon on the 420 side. 3 seconds on the clock. Let's see what happens. So Typhoons from 420 are in quite close. Is that a sensible decision?
I don't know about that. Like, I'm assuming they're rapid heavy. I was getting my silly overview set up. They're Goons are actually primary Karen Ray right off the bat, so they're going for the Typhoon as opposed to the Typhoon fleet issue, which is probably a pretty solid call. It does look like they are heavy missile launcher or rapid heavy fit, which is pretty much what you'd expect. I don't really know why they're. I guess 420 is going after the Paladin. That's kind of an interesting choice. Or they're going after one of the Paladins. Looks like Bertal.
Oh, it's 2 Paladins. Yeah, I just hadn't ordered them correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brutal's taking a ton of damage, and he's down to 24 armor, but he's bouncing back up.
He just repped himself up like 40%, so you're getting that Marauder tank. I'm assuming siege modules are not allowed for Marauders, and he's self-repping like crazy. Karen's going to go down first in the Typhoon. Like I said, that's a really good call from the Goons to go after that Typhoon. It's going to be a much easier kill, like full application, but very low. He goes down first, and that Paladin is just kind of hovering around. I think they're actually on reload right now because he stopped taking as much damage, or maybe they just tried to switch targets on something. I don't know. They're just punching each other in the face at close range right now.
A massive swarm of rep bots around that Paladin as well is probably making a big impact now.
Yeah, they're 420 is losing their Typhoon fleet issue flown by Dreaded right now as well. It's going down quite quickly. Like they're not able to keep them up. Deacon reps are good sometimes.
Yeah, like 2 Deacons is about like what 2/3 of a Guardian or something. Roughly.
Now I will say 420 is actually bombing the rep drones off of the Paladin. So like. They actually launched a bomb and just blew all the rep drones up, which was really, really good on their part.
That is pretty cool.
I do feel like that might have been a little too late, as there's already two battleships down from the Dank side. I'm just going to use their alliance ticker. That's way easier.
Yeah.
Goons are just working on that last Typhoon fleet issue right now. So, Goons have lost, it looks like, nothing besides rep drones, and that double Paladin, that's a really interesting setup. Like, they have 2 Paladins and then basically in a Star Day and Absolution for DPS. This actually kind of reminds me of their old team comps, what they were doing back in the day. I wonder if they ever no tanking them. Polarized guns again.
Oh yeah. Was it the Matani that sat in a polarized chip because they figured that people wouldn't shoot him?
It was a double bluff. They expected everybody to pile on him, so they immediately put him into thinking that they were going to counter that. And then put them in a no tank.
Last
a
Typhoon
420 got too many ships there because they've lost 3 Typhoons, but you have 8 ships locked.
I think what I've done is locked one of the Confessors. Yeah, so this is Confessor, sorry. I think I've
I knew I'd regret saying it.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't realize that Confessor is neutral to me, but it looks like he's flying with the Goons.
Are we going with the GFs in local?
I should just make the...
I would guess so.
Yeah, GFs in local for sure. So
that's the first match at 3 minutes, which is pretty quick.
Lexi, do you want to just let them know in the Alliance Opens channel that we are taking note of the points to see who wins the round robin, and then I'm gonna go ahead. Should we give Goonswap 100-0 clean sweep for that? Because I think if it had played out, I don't think that 420 would have got any kills there, and if it was a full 10-minute match, there's 2 Confessors there and the Deacons to fly around and keep them alive. So I think that definitely would have been 100-0 if that had played out.
They definitely 100-0'd them.
Especially given they were shooting the Mala.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so we will move on to the next grid. Just going to move. Forgot to fleet my ult. There we go. So we'll walk across the Sandlot Arena. Check out that match now. So congratulations, Goons. That's a pretty solid setup, and they seem to execute it very well.
It's really cool. I was surprised that they were doing as much damage as they did, honestly. I would like to see the fits. I'm guessing we'd have to actually ask them for it, but
yeah,
I mean, and Absolutions can do a ton, and Paladins with Pulses can do quite a bit. So I don't know. This is really cool. Like pure lasers, just totally blasted through those Typhoon fleets. They had absolutely no chance. Like I said, I want to see the fits of the Typhoons because they were going down so fast, and there wasn't really any like finesse there. It was just, hey, we do more damage than you. So
Yeah.
they didn't even like out small stuff. So
They did move directly into the optimal ranges. They'd started at like 20 kilometers with the opposing team at 30 or 40, and they burned in directly into optimal of those lasers and the railguns. So they were taking a ton of damage with only the reps from those frigates. So we've got Slice and No Vacancies next, who are landing on Gree as we speak.
No Vacancies. It looks like they're almost all here. They're running a kind of like one of those kitey, like light missile, but then they're using Sleipnirs, which is really cool. So I think it's going to be a way different looking match than the last one, just because like it's a bunch of shield stuff that goes really, really fast. I think, yeah, they got a couple Jackdaws and then a couple Sleipnirs and a Scimitar as their sort of their main core, and then they just have like generic support stuff, Hawks, things like that. So I'm expecting that they're going to run away. I'm try to like wait for him to land so I can see if they're auto slips or not.
Yeah, I think they were last week. Oh, they are today. Yeah. Okay.
They're artillery this week. So maybe they were last week, but maybe they're mixing it up this time.
We saw Novak week 1. I think they lost all their matches, and then week 2. I think they won 1, and now they're back for week 3. I've got a feeling they're going to do well today. I feel like it was kind of beginners, kind of like they were up against some really tough teams every match. They're up against Warlords and Tempest Chaos, and like really experienced teams. And this team, there's less, I'd say, very experienced teams in the pool. I think Slice have taken part in 1 or 2 ATs. Goonswarm have taken a bunch of ATs, and they've got some solid pilots, and their team captain Dirk's pretty good, but they've got a kind of a bit of a mixed like, I guess, have they ever got that far into the bracket? I don't know.
Goonswarm or
Goonswarm, yeah.
Yeah, they did okay last the final AT in number 16, but honestly, I hate to say it because it sounds kind of like not. Maybe I'm writing them off, but they got in because of who they played up against, not necessarily because of who they were. You know what I mean?
They're one of the really large alliances that never seems to do that well. Like, yeah, they're incredibly well known in the game. They're, well liked or, disregarded depending on what side of the field you fall on, but they never seem to do that well in the AT overall. I might be completely wrong there.
What was cool? No, they don't. They really don't. But they did do some unique stuff, which is awesome. I really do appreciate people doing unique things. Speaking of which, and again, I hate to have to ask, what's the drone rules? Because it looks like whoever Sino 8 is, they are running drones.
T1 only.
Okay, so they're running EOSs with drones.
Yeah,
there's not a gun on those ships, but apparently they've decided that.
Yeah, so
you know what?
This is a slightly modified comp that they brought last week. I think last week it was triple EOS, but it was pretty much the same. So the undermanned comp, I don't know if that's whether because they haven't got enough guys show up or they just don't like flying small ships. Because I don't think we've seen them fly anything smaller than a cruiser. So don't think I've seen these guys bringing any destroyers or frigates. They've just come with the bigger ships and slightly undermanned setups. And we kind of ribbed on them a bit, like kind of took the mick out of them. But they actually have done pretty well. I think they're like 50% win rate or something, and they've won with a similar setup to this. I think last time they had, so the Absolutions new, the 2 I think they had 3 EOSs before, and yeah, they dropped drones, and they seem to be pretty effective. I was kind of skeptical, but it worked for them. So
yeah, it is a pulse absolution, by the way. So it's little short range, very very high DPS. Pulse absolutions do a ton of damage. So
yeah, the match is just getting underway, and they're popping their bursts. We see the Slice team is kind of spread out in a long line over 50 kilometers. They're kind of at staggered ranges, whereas Novak are all in at 50, and they're peeling backwards. So
they've actually dropped sentries.
They pulled They pulled
Yeah.
a similar move last time where they dropped sentries, and then as the Rangers changed, they actually change their drones around, because the EOS has a huge drone bay and can chop and change quite easily, which makes it quite good in this respect.
Yeah, the one of those EOSs is he's going on a bit of an adventure into there, and yeah, looks like
Wow.
Novak's realized it. And they've all swapped into him. Yeah, he's in real deep.
Have you? I know you've been pretty AFK recently, but did you read the dev blog with the command ship changes?
No, I haven't. I really need to kind of get caught up on that stuff. Right now, what I'm watching, are they getting nerfed or buffed? Basically, that's the easy question.
Overall buffed. There's a couple of nerfs in there, but pretty shakeups. And the main thing about the EOS is it switched from a local tank repair bonus to a resist bonus. So it actually now has a ton of EHP. So it's better at just brawling in and taking and being primary and getting tackle on something, which is what I think he's done.
Yeah, apparently. It does look like they're doing that, and they're actually Novak's about to lose their Jackdaw, so he just got sniped down. He was not moving very fast, so I think that he maybe he forgot his little transversal rule and just got wrecked by it.
Yeah.
They did try and go for the bellicose, but they weren't quite able to break the tank from there. And yeah, that EOS he's in the middle of them, and he's barely dropped below about like 75% this entire time. So
I think the Oneirus has now got into range as well. Before it was just rep bots on him, but now they're actually holding him pretty comfortably, I think.
Yeah, they have a really like, I was kind of like, oh well, that's really dumb. Why is he flying in there? But it's like, maybe it's smarter than I thought.
Oh, MJD there from the Hyperion, I think.
Nice.
If they're using these EOSs again, like they did last week, where they were just like full racks of newts just to hold things down, then maybe it's a really smart play that we haven't seen very often, of just brawling into the center, forcing the other side to actually put the DPS on the EOS, which is a tough ship to break.
Yeah.
And then just being able to hold something down with it.
I will say, and this is something, we're since we're not, I shouldn't say super mean things, but I can tell that whoever Cynoid is. So you said Cynoid Slice, is that who it is? Or something like that? Well, whoever they are, they're splitting DPS like crazy. So this Hyperion is actually burning around chasing after a Sleipnir that's going almost twice as fast as him and missing all of his shots. Well, No Vacancies is kind of slowly picking people down one at a time. I'm not really sure what the plan is there. Like, I think the Sleipnir, the Hyperion, forgot that he wasn't solo PvPing, but he did actually finally get some kind of web down on the Sleipnir. So
is that Scimitar tackled by Neos? Oh, that's bad news.
Yeah,
that's bad news. So the Scimitar of ASIC is tackled with an EOS on top of him, and you can see it's like a neuting EOS, which is going to be really bad for him. Oh, and a Hawk just went down.
Just got popped. Yeah. All right. It looks like the Hyperion, he's moving towards the Scimitar, but he hasn't quite swapped his guns onto him yet. So I think that Scimitar would actually be dead right now if the Hyperion was, following primaries, basically.
He is moving towards him now. He's trying to get on top of him.
All right. There it is. Yeah. So, there's the damage on him.
Yeah. This is looking pretty bad. Down. This is looking pretty bad for No Vacancies, I think.
That tackle era EOS just burning in. Like, who would expect that? It's like, oh, he's just going straight for him. So yeah, they're gonna lose their Scimitar. And I don't know, No Vacancies, they're having trouble actually killing anything. I think that they really needed to probably clear some of the small stuff, but if your tackle's an EOS and it's a pretty tanky ship, like, what are you gonna do?
Well, they've tried shooting the Thorax quite a few times, but that Oneirus is just keeping him alive really, really well. Similarly, they've tried poking at the Blackbird and got nowhere. So that Oneirus is doing a fantastic job for the team, keeping them up. That and the combination with the Rep Bops.
There goes the Scimitar. So that's gonna probably be the end there for them. I don't, we'll see if they can pull something magical off. That Oneirus is actually taking a little bit of damage now, so I think that he is. So the Oneirus is tackled by a Novak Hawk. I think he's tackled too far away though, unless like you can see that
Sleipnir's diving in
straight towards them. Yeah, they're trying to trade Logi right now, but
I think it's probably too late at this point. I think if Novak had done this earlier, I think they had the tackle to screen off things like the Hyperion. They had the Hawks, which could have screened off the Hyperion and the Absolution from getting on top of getting into optimal things. And I think maybe if they'd actually just rushed, they might have won this because they had those small ships and could pin things down. But the fact that they've just let that EOS get amongst them and the Hyperion jump on top of them to push them into moving different directions, it kind of leans that Now they've lost a couple of ships and they don't have their Logi. I'm pretty confident Slates are going to win this. Hopefully they can get a kill though. I don't know.
I mean, they just annihilated the Belikos of Novak with the firepower from the Omen. It's done quite nicely.
Yeah,
Disappeared.
Slice coming in with some unorthodox tactics here, but it's working for them.
I mean, it worked last week as well. Do you think these undermanned comps might actually be a lot more viable now?
I think you'll see them. I think they might work against other teams without experience, because I guess it's less piloting intensive if you don't have small ships that have to be in precisely the right place all the time. But against experienced teams, I still think they'll be picked apart. We'll see. Was that Hawk exploding?
Something just warped off the Rapier, exploded. There's still a Hawk alive at the moment.
Yeah.
But the Aneros appears to have escaped tackle and is doing quite nicely at the moment. So going to be a Sino victory.
Looks like it, yeah.
There are only 3.5 minutes left, so it's not too bad.
The Neros isn't half armor though.
I think with 3 Slipners on top of him, that's not that surprising.
They've barely been able to hit him. Like, I don't know. Like I said again, it's. I think that the undermanned comp works because they're playing against people that kind of messed up a little bit. You know what I mean? Honestly, like we saw the Hyperion shooting the wrong target for like 2 minutes straight. So, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, was it the undermanned comp works, or is it that they somehow still killed a Scimitar shooting the wrong target for 2 minutes straight? And now, it's hard to tell.
Yeah. I think seeing some of these Sleipnir comps, now Sleipnir is a very strong ship, it's especially recently. However, I find that, okay, the GFs are now going in local. I find that a lot of teams bringing Sleipnir comps, they have this kind of, with a Sleipnir comp, you either go really aggressive and you just go straight into the thick of things and you go full on brawl mode, or you kind of stay back a bit. And I'm seeing a lot of these teams trying to stay back a little bit, maybe trying to think, okay, I'm going to play a bit smart, let them come into me a bit more. And I'm seeing rarely it's working out versus the actual really aggressive brawling in, seeing what you can kill as fast as possible with ACs.
Yeah, so we've just seen the rest of this fight play out. I don't think they're going to get this Aneros down. It doesn't seem to be dropping very hard. And I don't think they're even in optimal. I'm not sure what these Slipmans are trying to accomplish, but at least they have.
Given the GFs in local, I think it's all over.
Yeah. We did say that we'd record the points, though, so they might just be trying to get a kill before it goes down. We've only got 6 matches today lined up for you. We're doing a round robin because we only got a few teams. So we're doing a round robin. They'll play each other once each. We'll try and record the points and tell you who did the best in terms of kills. This is kind of like we're just trying some different things. So there's one more Sleipnir here, and I don't think he's going to kill anything. He's being a good sport and going down. That's rude, Wrath, bringing the cleaning ship. I've had a request.
I assume that's all GFs. I walked in. I'm sorry. I've got to do my job, man.
I have
Give
had
him a hand.
request to put the Alliance. The Alliance column on the overview, which I've done, but as you can see, most corps, when they're practicing on CC, or most alliances rather, they move all their characters into one corporation so they can give them all director roles and so they can share their practice fits. So the Alliance column is not much use at the moment. Alright, so we'll be warping over to the Field of Dreams. So there might be a bit of delay here. Because we're doing a round robin, we've got a little bit of time now. No vacancies are going to have to reship, and they'll be flying next again. So we've got a little bit of time to kill here. So what have you been up to for the last couple of years then, BBP?
Well, nothing particularly fun. Obviously this year, like, I'm in the US, so it's been
Hashtag 2020.
all sorts of fun things out here. I moved. I, had some life changes basically, so I've just been kind of like getting everything back together, and then now we're just doing my job and
What games have you
working
been playing?
on, this kind of stuff. Oh, I don't want to say that. We're on an Eve stream. I mean, I'd get shamed, even though, let's be real, Eve is the most shameful of all video games to play. But I played a ton of WoW when
WoW
coronavirus
Classic,
hit,
right?
because like, no.
Oh, okay.
That's garbage.
Ooh.
Basically, so when Corona hit, I was like, all of my friends that I'd like played with for like 10, 15 years, all of us were like, well, we're all, like most of us, we were like, yeah, you're going to lock down for like a couple weeks. I'm like, okay, cool. It's like, well, why don't we log into that, try it out again? And we were actually having a lot of fun. It's I got some people I've like played with longer than, God, I got people I played WoW with for, God, it's 15 years now, 16 years. It's been out for a while. So, it's just fun to hang out and talk to them. We're all older.
Yeah.
Some of us have kids, that kind of stuff. But,
Yeah, I did pretty much the similar thing at lockdown, but for Eve, like, I've kind of just been in and out of various corps and sort of not had one focus for a long time in Eve, apart from doing tournament stuff, which obviously takes up a lot of time. But when lockdown started, me and a couple of old footwork guys got back together, and then like one by one, more and more people just coming back, and we ended up with like about 20 or 30 people that used to play together 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago all together, and it was very cool. So not all bad.
It often happens that way though, like, 2 or 3 people start forming a core of an old group, and then suddenly like everyone comes pouring out the woodwork. Oh, I heard you guys are back, I want to get in and I want to get play, I want to get involved, because that social draw and that social aspect is so huge with Eve. It's part of the reason that so many of us keep playing this bloody game.
Yeah, that's very cool.
yeah.
Mr. Matthias Doms is in chat. This is my first time flying in this kind of stuff, and it's very fun. That's pretty cool. It's good to see some new people come into tournaments and get involved. I think tournament community in Eve is pretty small, I guess. It's kind of like it's a niche sort of play style of a niche game, almost.
It's small, but it's certainly, nice and warm and friendly a lot of the time. If you ever go into these meetups, you get a huge sense of kind of togetherness if you ever come with a group of people like this.
Yeah,
I mean, the meetups, just stay out of Reddit.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Last week we had a meet up with some people in a very socially distanced manner, but it was pretty nice to see people again in real life. And I got to meet Stawish from Odin's Core, who's the team captain this year. We had a good tin rag about the tournament. It was pretty cool. Got very nerdy. So shout out to him if he's listening. So yeah, we're just waiting for no vacancies to reship, and they're going as quickly as possible. But they're doing back-to-back matches, so it's a little bit of a delay.
Talking about new players, do you think these arena? I don't know if you've actually heard about, but TCP have been doing some like abyssal PvP style where it's just like 5v5, 3v3, and really kind of giving a bit of a manual piloting, small gang sense of brawls and stuff you can do actually in game that's set up for these filaments. I wonder if we're going to start getting new people.
I think Suetonia's one of the best people to ask about that currently.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
same.
I was going to say, I watch streams of people doing it.
It's been really popular with streamers. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's pretty popular for streamers. Like, it's nice to say, I hate to say it, but like having for a while there, like your top Eve streamers were basically, was like, oh, well, we're doing mining a fleet with my friend.
Hacking and analyzing.
So, no, I've watched a couple of streams of that. I'm not sure how... It's super weird because like I've seen some of the ones where it's like the top tier guys, and I really think that from watching them, it's like you guys need to put a module restriction into it, because watching some dude fly Caracal with slaves in and Dead Space crap, it's funny when they die. It's like, oh, a nice 3 billion Caracal, buddy. But
I think they've for the last that was for the they did the first 3 and then the second 3, and I think we're on the third 3 now. And for this set, they did introduce restrictions. So the last 3 have been, this one is a Caldari themed one, and it's like Caldari destroyers and frigates. For the one before that was 5v5 noob ships, and the one before that it was battle cruisers. And for those 3 we have had module restrictions, and I I can say is a lot more. It's a less soul destroying when you come, because they don't have those. So when you lose, you kind of felt like you lost fairly. And I lost 4 today and won 1, and I'm terrible. But it was quite fun. It was like even though we lost, it was like very rock paper scissors. Some of the matches we couldn't really do a lot. At least it was T2 stuff we were fighting against, and not like some super blingy 10 bill fit. So, but I would encourage people to take part in them. They were pretty fun.
Since they have warped in, I've been kind of peeking at the ships. So 420 is actually running, and it is odd if you look at their ship names. It's called AT Minrush, which stuff like that, and it's like, haha, okay, yeah. But no, they're actually running like it's a heavy assault missile Nighthawk. It's their autocannon Sleipnir. So they warped. They warped all of their
baiting with their ship names
at 0 on top of us. Yeah, and apparently Novak's running Abaddons.
Yeah.
Joking choice. About ship names, they're called bad fit, which is when your EFT import's wrong, but also the Abaddons. So there's another reason why you could call them that. Like, I cannot think of a single reason why you would ever fly that ship.
Okay. Yeah, you're kind of right. I guess it's a points thing. Like, they've stacked the rest of their fleet with T2 ships and T3 destroyers. T2 destroyers. Getting 3 battleships in, I guess, is the idea, rather than going for like 2 factions. Yeah, okay. There is better options. Like 2 Typhoons would probably be better in this scenario, I think.
I'm personally hoping for artillery Abaddons.
Nah, they're Pulse. Sorry.
Oh.
So they do a lot of damage, Pulse. They do track pretty well, and the Abaddons have got a ton of EHP, but the capacitor is a huge issue, and range might be an issue.
So 420 is all inning on the Armageddon, which was the one I didn't talk about. It's already down in half armor right now. So, they did a great job tackling. Like, I will say Novak did a really good job, like, quote-unquote, screening off all of those command chips. But the problem is they also warped in at 0. So it's like, well, you can't really screen me off if I'm already on top of you when the match starts. So that, again, it's going down. Like, you can't rep through that. That's so much damage. I've heard Nighthawks can hit like upwards of 1400 DPS nowadays. So I think we just saw that, and they just melted the Armageddon.
Nighthawk has gone from a kind of irrelevant ship to like a very irrelevant ship with that command ship change. They lost their Armageddon, but they did take one down. Take down one of the Kitsunes on the Novak side.
Jams are, I don't know. Like, it's multispectral only, right? So it's like,
No, you can bring. Well, especially you can only bring ECM tied to an ECM, a ship with ECM bonuses. So you can't put a jammer on the Abaddon. You can put it on a Kitsune.
Gotcha.
It has to be a ship with an ECM bonus, which limits their use somewhat because. And also the change in mechanic from previous tournaments is that you can't lock anything else, but you can still lock the ship jamming you. And the fact that
I feel that means you really shouldn't use a Kitsune. To
be honest, it does work actually. Kitsunes, because they're fast enough that they can burn in, jam you. By the time anyone locks you back up, they can burn out of range again, and you can kind of dip in and out.
Drive-by jamming.
Like, so far what I've seen in a lot of the training I've been doing is 2 or 3 Kitsunes can just lock down a team, just because if they don't have that long range, they can just stay on the edge of the border and go pretty darn fast, and there's not much you can do about them really.
The Abaddon of Pinky now in very low armor.
So they were heating him up fine, but if you look at the Oniros from Novak, he has like 3 separate sets of EC drones on him, and he's been getting jammed out pretty consistently. I've just been kind of like watching his little green beam hit, and so he just got jammed out again. I think no, he didn't. But yeah, so whenever he's not jammed, the Abaddon's tanking all of that command ship DPS pretty fine, but then he gets jammed and that thing goes down. So I mean, 420 definitely did a really good job attacking the Armageddon first, because we are seeing that Abaddon resist bonus just not care. But all that ECM, I mean, and no vacancies. He's having to split his reps now, so he's not jammed, but he's trying to keep up their vengeance at the same time, and basically the Abaddon's bleeding armor while he's doing it.
No vacancies lost to Kitsune during then, so there's no jams left on the field.
The Abaddon gone down as well now.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trading your battleships for Kitsunes, like,
yeah. There's a Jackdaw in trouble here though. of Quantum Skill, which I believe is the team captain, so having him off the grid might help.
He has been in trouble for a little while and slowly going down. So I'm going to say
Yeah.
drones or maybe the Vengeance.
It's the Vengeance's little rocket launchers that do like probably 60 DPS because he's probably max tanked, so he's just getting slowly killed by a Vengeance. The thing with that is like they might just rep him up with a single cycle from the Scimitar at some point. We'll see. It's always hard to tell. It's kind of cool because there's like two little fights going on. There's the battleship problem. There's these like little guys fighting off in the corner around here. So
Yeah, Neros looks like it's about to go down. So say those BCs on top.
Yeah.
To be honest,
Yep.
I'm quite impressed with the piloting from these command ships. They came in perfect sync across the field together.
Probably just approaching each other, right?
No, like side
We're
by
anchored.
side.
Anchored up, yeah. Okay, pincer attacked. That pincer attack worked. The nearest died. But is that Scimitar tackled, or is he just... Where is he? He might be tackled by the Magus. I don't know if that's going to give him much of a problem, though, because the Abaddon's too far to do any damage, right?
he's taking a ton of damage, but I don't think he's tackled. I think they're just applying to him really, really well. I don't know if he started boosting yet or not, though. They're actually doing a lot of damage to him, but yeah, maybe he forgot to put a booster on because he might go down. Nope, there we go.
He boosted.
And then he boosts up 70% of his HP.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think that might have been a deciding factor in this.
yeah,
We're halfway through the match now, so I think that's a pretty good mark.
Yep. Yeah, I mean the Oneros too. Like I think what happened, and it's kind of hard to tell without the overview, the cheater overview that lets you see EC. But I think what happened is Novak tackled all of the battleships or the battle cruisers right off the bat with their little stuff, waited until their battleships could tackle them, and then had their little stuff run away. So as soon as those battleships went down, it freed all the command ships to just race after that and wipe out that Oneros. But last Abaddon's going down right now. I don't know if there's enough DPS to take anything else out here.
Unless they get all of that little stuff on top of the Scimitar right now, I don't think they've got much chance. And even Two Ventures' Two Confessors is still going to take quite a while to chew through an XLISB on a Scimitar, so...
He should be on reload right now, so
finish boosting.
that is something. Yeah, I counted like 7 or 8. I'm not 100% sure. I'm counting the rounds, man.
But the Sleipnirs are making quick work of these small ships now as they turn their autocannons on them, and another explosion there as the Mauler went down.
The Scimitar is actually going to go down. It's not going to make the... I doubt that it's going to change the outcome of the fight, but it is going to make it more annoying to reship, so moral victory, I guess. But I'm not seeing, I very much doubt they're going to be taking down the Sleipnirs and the Nighthawks before the Nighthawks and the Sleipnirs do enough damage. Even with getting rid of a Scimitar. A lot of the times people AT-fit Scimitars super, super squishy and rely on their speed of them to get away, so...
Yeah, which is fine unless you come up against a kind of fly killer setup which can chase them down, or even something. If they get caught at all, that's it. They just explode.
Yeah, and Confessor just went down, and they're just they're just going through the list right now.
They might be able to get another Jackdaw kill or something if they're lucky, but
Yep. Yeah, they're working on the other Confessor. It's kind of interesting that they didn't go for the Magus. Generally, that's kind of I guess that's one of those things you'll see the more experienced teams will wipe out Lynx when they screw up and get out of position. Because the Magus they were kind of using it as an aggressive tackle, so...
Yeah, we haven't seen as many Command Destroyers. Recently, I don't know if you watched much of the 5v5 stuff, BBP, that Geronix ran. But they were command ships in the 5v5 one were the go-to Lynx ship, because you get 2 or even 3 some cases Lynx for only a few points, whereas I think so far in opens we've seen command ships be more popular for that role because I lowered them by a point, and the buffs make them kind of a lot more viable. Be interesting to see how it pans out though.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm not seeing a lot of Navy battle cruisers, which they're still very, very good ships, but the reason why they've always been good is because their point cost, not necessarily because the point cost and the tracking. So
yeah,
I mean, if you make command ships cheaper, it's command ships just better in pretty much every way. Might as well just fly that instead.
Sure.
Seeing Jess and local now at the 2-minute mark, so I think we're all over. If that wasn't obvious from the stream.
No, it is. I mean, like I said, they didn't have enough damage to break through any of those command ships. I mean, again, without seeing the fits, but we all know how good Sleipnirs are at like making YouTube videos and being like, look how good I am at tanking. So same case here. It's the same ship, maybe not quite the same fit, but
yeah. Congratulations to 420 LG. Novacities did put some points on the board for them. Kind of like Novacities keep surprising me. I keep expecting them to do well. Like, they're not bad PvPers, and they're a wormhole group which often meets the communications pretty well. But I don't know, they just keep execution just leaving a little bit to be desired there. But yeah, they're showing up and they're putting time in, and I think that they're getting better each week. So we will walk across the other arena, which is the Sandlot. And next up we have Slice and Goonswarm. So I'm not there yet. I wonder if Slice brought the same setup they keep bringing.
yes, they did. Well, pretty close. So yeah, it's basically the same thing. I can't quite see.
Yeah, exactly the same thing, I think.
Yeah, exactly the same thing. I mean, they might have tweaked the fits a little bit. So Goon's not on the grid yet. It's kind of interesting though, like the whole idea of sort of like while we wait, while we fill time, quote unquote. It's Eve related though, so it counts. The whole idea of, well, these guys are quote unquote good PvPers on Tranquility, so I'm surprised they aren't doing as well in a tournament setting. That's one of those things we've always it gets said all the time, and I think that it's kind of never really true.
Yeah, I know.
It's just a completely different skill set.
I know exactly what you mean, and I'm very guilty of doing that myself, even though I know exactly what you mean.
I think it's about if the gameplay is more close to kind of the tournament setting, so like Wormhole, where it's small gang versus small gang, or maybe some of the low stack stuff is. But a lot of the null stack stuff is nothing even related. It could be a completely separate game, really. Think about it.
Well, and I've been active either as a top 4 player or watching it for basically the last 4 years of tournaments, and I can say that I've never seen a Wormhole Corp do good ever, unless you count people that live in Thera, which is not a wormhole.
Okay, they might not be winning tournaments, but they're not.
I've never seen one get
where I
top
usually
8.
where I usually see wormhole teams is they usually show up and they have the kind of team communication pretty good. Okay, theory crafting is a separate issue. You can be just because you're a wormhole group doesn't mean you're good at theory crafting, and I think that is a huge part of it. And I think
that's a good call. I'll retract it a little bit and say that the whole thing, like the comment, which maybe we'll see it again, like the Hyperion chasing the wrong target for 2 minutes straight is not going to happen from a wormhole team, because in the wormhole team everyone's kind of close in it and is going to be like,
there's good comms communication.
What the hell are you doing?
yeah. Whereas I do think nullsec teams are better at theory crafting. Because they have a kind of command structure for doing that sort of thing on TQ in terms of fleets and everything from structures to fleets to is that ship in the wrong place? They have a lot more. They have a whole group of people who theorycraft all day long for all sorts of different things that are part of EVE Online. So they're generally more organized about theory crafting.
Sometimes just having the money helps too. Realistically, I hate to say it because it does cheapen it a little bit sometimes. But having a Rabisu versus not having a Rabisu, I think we joked about it for two of the last 2 tournaments, 16 and 15, where it was if you don't have a Rabisu, you probably will not be able to top 8, because there's going to be a certain point where someone's going to be able to say, I can ban your comp out, and then counter it with something that you pretty much need to have a Rabisu to beat, or some other weird AT ship.
Just checking this Confessor. Oh,
yeah, we're seeing the same Goon comp and the same Slice comp here. So, but they haven't fought each other yet. It's going to be kind of interesting.
I'm just changing because this dude is not in the actual Goonswarm Corporation. I'm just changing his standings. I screwed up there. Let's just change.
Yeah, he's in the actual Goonswarm Alliance as opposed to the Goonswarm
There you
T
go.
Fun one. Yeah.
He should be showing up as the right colour now on stream, I think. So we've got. Yeah. Okay, so unlock that one. Sorry about this. I'm just making sure that we've got everything set up right, because the one pilot is not in the in this training corporation. I'm just flipping over the colours to make sure that doesn't get confusing. And there's a wild confessor.
Yeah, it also stops me from making a prat of myself on stream, which is always, much appreciated.
There we go. Should be fixed now. We should be good to go.
See, I just stopped worrying about that. That's the secret trick. Like, whatever. Just in case you say something dumb and people at you on Reddit, and I don't read that crap anymore. It's not been worth it. So.
Not enough people know who I am to actually do that on Reddit.
You say that now, but okay. So we've got Paladins versus the Hyperion. I think that Goonswarm are going to do pretty well again this match.
Yeah, it's, let's see, what are they going for? So they actually loaded up like long range right now, and they're just trying to pop the Onuris right off the bat. So that's a pretty good call on their part. They did, again, like there's that little bit of damage splitting, because they were shooting at the Blackbird and they were shooting kind of at something else. So they shot the Blackbird. I thought that they were shooting the Onuris. They were shooting the Blackbird and they did a little bit of damage to someone else. They were damage splitting. The Blackbird's pulling away really fast though. One thing about Paladins is they have like hideously low sensor strength. So they've always been very susceptible to jams. So that can be like a really helpful thing from the Goon side.
Yeah, so the Blackbird's taking damage from, but he's tanking just fine at the moment.
Yeah, I think they've stabilized him already. Like once you hit that Aurora range, you see those little red lasers. It's like, oh, cool. You guys aren't doing any damage though.
A lot of red bots over there on that Confessor of Galaka. So I presume, like, but they probably need to switch those red bots now, because it looks like he's tanking just fine onto the Astarte, who's taking a lot of punishment of Corrin. He's in about 60% armor at the moment, and he's getting hit pretty hard.
Yeah, and Goons are blasting into that Hyperion, which is not doing anything. Local reps plus the self reps are pretty strong, but that Astarte's taking a ton of damage. You can see one of those Paladins as Conflag loaded up. He's living the EFT warrior dream. He's like, well, if I load this ammo, I do so much DPS. And it's like, well, not in reality, but in this specific case.
Yeah. You can see all those sentry drones hitting that Astarte perfectly there. And the Onuris is the two Deacons are struggling to keep them alive, just because there's just a lot of protection from those sentries. I almost think it might be worth Goonswarm's time just to blap those sentries really quickly with the Paladins.
It's projection, and also I think the Deacons were slightly on the other side, and the Astarte had maybe pulled a little bit too far from his comp. They were way out into fall off.
And also, having had to clean up sentries with EOSs whilst they're still on grid after each match, I can tell you it's not going to happen quickly.
No. Yeah, even with T1 drones, I guess they've still got quite a lot of hit points. The Astarte does look like he's holding, although it's pretty close. He's got some structure damage there, and his armor's just getting chiseled away and then rep back up, and he's currently 81% structure.
He may have been able to pull out of range of the sentries themselves. They do have quite finite ranges.
This Underman comp does have a lot of DPS, but it doesn't really have those kind of crucial small tackle that you could, pin down those Deacons with, and crushing the extra support.
Honestly, I don't think you're ever going to kill Deacons with sentries, like T1 ones.
No.
I'd be shocked if you did. Like, you'd have to, maybe if you had like a Vindicator web or something on them, but, we'll see. Goons are actually going to lose one of their Confessors, so, it's like, oh, the Astarte is living, but it's like, yes, but they just kind of swatted a Confessor that was way out of range of the Deacons right there. There's no way to rep them. Deacon's rep range is so small.
Yeah.
So, I think I don't know if they've given up on the Astarte, but they definitely, like, they're going for the other Confessor right now, and they're kind of taking pot shots at him, and there's no reps near him, so.
It's a pretty close match at the moment. It's kind of like somewhat on a knife edge there. I kind of feel like whoever loses a ship first is going to start collapsing. The ships are very spread out here. Like, there doesn't seem to be a lot of focus in terms of positioning. So things are starting to pull apart for both teams now. EOS is both taking damage, both getting reps. A lot of split damage here going on. Maybe this is a tactic from Goonstorm to try and stress out the Slice team a little bit.
Well, like Bart was saying earlier, there's not a huge amount of tackle from the Novax team. There's also not a lot from the Slice team. The two Confessors, yes, but after that, you know, what's left
two
is there to
Maulers,
run across the field.
Well, two
Yeah,
Maulers.
but
You can-
again,
I
you've
think
got the
Mauler makes a pretty good cheap tackle ship because it has a ton of HP. It's not too slow, and it's cheap amount of points. I don't know. It's kind of
that's a fair comment.
you can,
I mean,
you can fit
but
newts on it as well.
true. I mean, how close are the Mallards to the enemy the squishy bits?
Well, they're trying to take down a Absolution right now. So, and said Absolution is tackled by a Thorax, which I don't like. That's the target
Actually,
right there.
just watch the
Yeah.
Anira right now. I think the Mauler might actually be about to pull him and hold him down from Athena.
Oh, I will eat my words as we hit the 5-minute mark.
Well, I'm amazed nothing's died. Is that right? Nothing's died.
Yep.
No, the one Confessor's down. The Mauler does have the
I
EO
think
tackle.
that's
Second Confessor just went down. Yeah, so both Confessors are down. And then the Oniros, the Mauler actually almost slingshotted himself out of tackle range on that Oniros, but I think he's going to hold him.
And the EOSs are doing their normal trick of sitting in close and pinning things down and neuting the hell out of them.
We got a DPS split across the Oniros and the Blackbird right now.
Yeah, I think once they all switch over to the Oniros, it's going to go down really fast. The Paladins aren't quite applying to it yet. So I don't know if they're not shooting it on purpose or not, or they just haven't locked them up yet.
I think
Could be the change of the ECM. So if the Blackbird's currently got a jam on you, the only thing you can shoot is that Blackbird. So maybe they're just going,
true.
oh, that's
Yeah.
all I can shoot, so I may as well shoot him.
that could well be it. The Aneris is in 10-20% armor, and he's fluctuating a little bit. So he's taking. If he goes down, I feel like Goonswarm win this pretty quickly. But you know,
They are about to lose an Absolution, though, or very close to losing.
Yeah,
He's in very low armor.
He's been bleeding structure. Like they are. If I was a big kid. Yeah.
He's gone.
Ooh, he's gone. The Deacon of Jury as well has got a lot of acolytes on him, and Valkyries, and it has an Eos chasing him and neuting him at the same time. So he's okay at the moment. He's half armor, but he is under pressure there, which is interesting. These Eos is just running around the field, just scaring everyone. It's quite interesting.
And I may be able to put my foot in it one more time tonight, but the Neros actually seems to be pulling back some armor despite having quite a lot of structure damage.
Yeah, the Oniros actually got away from the Mauler somehow.
I think the Omen counter screened against the
Yeah.
Mauler.
So now the Oniros is zipping around again, and the Goons actually lost their Astarte as well. Oh, there's a big hit. So one of the Paladins finally got a good hit on the Oniros and just knocked down 3% of its armor. in one go.
They need to break through this Aneros, otherwise they're just gonna keep losing ships. Oh, he's
and
gone.
there he goes.
There he is.
Yeah.
Okay, this is.
Tackled down by Dirk, the captain. And
I
he's just
still feel this
top.
is pretty even. I mean, the Hyperion's got a lot of tank just in his own, and we've got 3 command ships to chew through. So this is definitely not over with these Deacons being chased around by the Eoses. So Blackbird, though, isn't the primary next. With no reps pointed at it, it's going down pretty hard.
It's going to be interesting to see what dies in the next 2.5 minutes, because that's all the time they've got left.
2.5 minutes. Okay, so they're going to need to kill some big ships, certainly, to win. I don't know what we're looking about on points.
I mean, those 2 Paladins alone are worth a lot. So I think it's going to be, can the Paladins take down a command ship on the other side? Oh wait, no, because there's 3 command ships and a Hyperion up still. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if they can break the Paladins in time. We'll see.
Yeah,
They're
I
going
mean-
after Caliber and the Eos, and they're also finishing the Mauler off. Like they're just kind of token, like, oh wait, this guy's in structure. We should probably kill him.
3 command ships and a battleship is 70 points on its own, whereas 2 Marauders is 44.
Yeah, so they do really need to blast through one of them, and it looks like Slice is being good. They're just running right now. They're like, all right,
Yeah,
get away.
one Deacon just died, and it looks like the second the drones are moving across the second one, so that's not going to last too long now without anything to rep it. Omen goes down there. I presume Thorax will be next. We'll see. They're trying to get some points off the board. Oh, that Paladin's taking a ton of damage though.
I mean,
Yeah,
at this
he
point,
is.
we've got less than 90 seconds, and Novak are very much winning this with what they've got left on the grid.
Well, something we're
Novak
seeing
are not on
too-
grid, so I presume you mean
Sorry, mate.
Slice.
I know what
Yeah.
I meant. I just, yeah, you know, open
Well,
mouth,
the
rubbish comes out.
Paladin's rapping hard though.
Yeah.
That can be
He
his answer.
finally turned it on. I think he's still gonna die though. And you know what's interesting that we're seeing? I'm watching them. So remember when I was joking about Conflag Paladins? So he's shooting Conflag at an EOS that's moving at pretty good transversal from like 6 km away. So it's like one of those dumb things where it's like, hey dude, like just because they're short range of you doesn't mean that's what you should be doing. Like he was missing every single shot on
It
the
definitely
EOS.
needs to.
Like he got a little bit of his armor down.
I just lost an Absolution and a Paladin with 30 seconds left. This is actually shaping up to be one of the best matches so far.
So they're punching each other in the face.
Yeah. Can they get another EOS, which might make things a little bit more even points? But I don't think it will do it. It
don't
certainly
think
won't.
so.
I mean, I don't think they can win now, but hopefully they can
But-
get a little kills.
Coming down on 10 seconds.
This Paladin might even die. It's getting. No, he is repping back up now. He was dropping
It's
pretty hard. Though.
5,
He's got
4, 3, 2, 1. That's it.
Oh, someone's got a stopwatch.
Yes.
Lexi-
Sorry.
Good GG. Lexi, have you got the points totaled up already? It'll take you a minute.
No, give me a minute.
I
I think it's
yeah, we've got
pretty safe to say. I think might be eating myself, but I think Goons won off that.
yeah, definitely. Slice had 2 command ships and a battleship left on grid, and a Thorax, and Goonswarms had Paladin, Mauler, and Inquisitor. So yeah, congratulations, Slice, for your second win.
Oh, that was definitely the best match of the year so far for me. It was just really good to see everyone, like you said, just punching each other in the face. Very enjoyable.
So yeah, we're going to walk across to the arena. There might be a little bit of a delay now because we're going to wait for Slice to reship. Although good chances they know what ships they're bringing and who's going to be flying them.
I'll try and make sure the timer doesn't go off on stream when I'm opening my mic. Sorry about that.
I thought it was a good sound effect. I thought it was intentional.
No, look, completely unintentional, as of most things that I'm saying tonight.
Someone's asking Local what was the points.
Bear with me. I am just calculating the last bit now. I carry the 6. Go the.
Divide by pi.
So, fun fact, we have K Hazard from Fraternity, who is actually, he is on grid with us, following us around, and he's actually streaming over on Chinese, how do you say it, Bilibili website. So if you're interested and you're listening and you understand Chinese, then feel free to head over there. I think it's pretty cool if EVE tournaments get streamed in multiple languages, because the more people that get to watch them, the more interested it is, and the more people there are to sustain the tournament community. So, yeah, head over there and give them a view. It'd be pretty cool. He's hopefully going to be streaming the actual tournament for us. So we are just waiting for Slice to reship.
What's this next one? It's Slice versus 420,
Yes.
I think. Yeah. Okay. So neither of them are here yet. Wait, is that someone? No.
So if you're 420, but and you've seen what Slicer brought twice, so you probably pretty safe bet maybe. I think they brought the same thing last week as well, twice. They might have even bought the same thing all 3 matches last week as well. So pretty confident these guys are going to try the double EOS Hyperion or triple command ship Hyperion setup. What would you bring to counter that? That's like a perfect counter.
So 420 is the guys that brought the Minmatar Rush, right?
Yes.
Yeah, just I want to see that. I think that actually has a really good chance of just completely blasting them, because like Slice isn't bringing real, like they're bringing tackle, but it's not the kind that lives versus a Minotaur Rush. You know what I mean? You know, if it's like, oh, you flee your Mauler into my Sleipnir that does 1,000 DPS and has another Sleipnir next to it and has a Nighthawk next to it. It's like, okay, well, I guess we're just gonna kill you then. So that's what, like, I would like to see them do that. Or, you know what I would also really like to see, though? I think that just based off the rules, based off current, like, the way the ships seem to be dealing with, you know, based off today's meta of 4 games that I have watched, it does really seem like command ships are really, really good. And yeah, so it's showing up in the same setup again. So I think that this is really something like, if you're gonna go kind of larger ship heavy, like every single ship is a valid target on the Slice team. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sometimes you get setups where it's like, okay, well, you know, you have 3 Typhoons and then everything else is small, and it's like, well, oh, Leshak, hello.
Oh.
That is also an option.
That's
I don't know about.
So I don't know if you haven't read all the rules yet, but so the
Any of them.
So the Triglavian the rule the tournament is sponsored by EdenCom, who are the force in New Eden that have been formed to counter the Triglavian threat, and as such, that kind of allowed us a little bit of a role playing excuse, I guess, to make Triglavian ships really expensive points wise. So they've got their own separate points table, basically because they have a ton of utility. They have a weapon system that is great for Alliance tournament stuff. That damage that can get really high and just like blow through battleships really fast once it ramps up if it's not EWARD. And there's a ton of good reasons as well, which I'm sure you know from Alliance tournament 16, for why Triglavian ship's good. So Leshak is 25 points, which is quite a chunk of the team's points.
Yeah, it makes it the most expensive ship available to any of the teams, so it does make it an interesting choice to take, despite the advantages it gives you.
Yeah, they also brought a Rook, so they just I mean, all of their points are it's like it's like the old school comp. I mean, look at that. It's got a Vindicator and it's got a Leshak. They're trying to relive, 2018, which, I mean, I get it. Cool, yeah.
I mean, if you had the choice, 2018 or 2020, what would you take?
I don't know. 2020 has been kind of fun, but yeah, probably 2018.
Fun? Have you been living in an alternate universe?
He's been playing too much WoW. That's what he's been doing.
I live in the country. It's pretty great. Not in one of them cities, yeah.
I mean, you live in the country, which is pretty gay, but you live in a pretty bad country.
Oh,
That's a great country.
let's not get xenophobic on stream.
TC's dream. Yeah.
USA,
yeah. But no, it's kind of cool though. So this is sort of like, that's a lot of damage on 420 side, but it's only from 2 ships. Like, they have nothing else. Vexers are tackle ships. They are. Vexers are tackle ships. Sorry. Pontifexes don't do anything. Punishers, I mean, yeah, maybe you could get like 80 DPS out of them. Yeah, tackle ships. They have a lot of tackle ships.
See,
yeah, Vexers have no guns on them. So, I mean, they can still do like 200-300 DPS with drones, but it's not like...
So if the Vexers have got newts, which I would definitely put small, maybe even medium newts on those Vexers. I'd be tempted to rush the Vexers and the Punishers onto the Logi just to shut it down if they have enough newts. I'm not sure if they would. But if they can shut down the Logi through newting power and tackling it and not being able to move anywhere, then they need to kill that. They need to kill that Blackbird fast, because the Blackbird is going to reset the timer on the Leshak's weapon, and that's going to really upset them. So if they can shut down the Blackbird, and Leshak ramps up on that Hyperion, he's going to melt.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I don't know what the like I said, we don't know their fits. I wish we did. That'd be really cool. I mean, traditionally we wouldn't know them until afterwards anyways, but I actually think the Eoses are kind of the target here, if you can grab them, because Leshaks don't care about tracking
Right.
at all. Like, I died to one 80km off in a fucking interceptor before, and he just one-shot me, so, which probably was me, but still. Leshaks don't care about tracking, and Vindicator webs are Vindicator webs. So, like, you're correct in that Blackbird needs to be controlled. What we used to do back in the day when we used tackle vectors, because we always would, is we'd stick remote ECM burst or boosting. I don't remember what the module's called. Remote sensor boosters on. Are those legal in this?
Remote sensor boosters? Yeah, sure.
So that might be I don't know. Like, I'm thinking of this from like how do you make this comp work? Because I don't like the idea of a double DPS comp that's going up against any ECM whatsoever, especially when one of the DPSers is a Leshak.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, well, maybe if you have remote EC or remote sensor boosters on the Vexers and you boost the Leshak so he can't be jammed, and then you have all of your tackle rush their Oneros and tackle him, or nude him out, or something, this might work. But like, we know those Eoses are tackle. We've seen them tackle a couple times. So I don't think they're going to be moving too far. You know, the Leshak probably can kill the Blackbird from range. I don't know. This is actually interesting. Like, this is going to be a good one, boys.
Yeah. So it looks like 420 are charging in. Their Punishers are going into screen, it looks like, to catch things. They're trading places there with an Eos who's going the opposite direction to tackle. And the Hyperion is pinned down now, the Punisher by Duwong. And he's also, the other Punishers pinned down the Black by the looks of it. Damage onto the Hyperion and the Rook on the other side.
Yeah, so the Leshak just got jammed. I watched it happen. Yep, already.
Yeah.
So he got jammed after like about 6 seconds of shooting, which is kind of what I expected to happen. That Hyperion or that Vindicator is not tackled. Like, they really, really, really need to take that Vindicator and then just run it at their Blackbird.
Yeah.
Or this is just going to be dumb. So
the Rook
now he's
is
tackled,
taking
so
a ton of
too
damage.
late.
So the Rook is taking a ton of damage. But it looks like there's heavy drones from those Eoses Praetors chewing through that Rook, but he has caught reps now from that.
Leshak is unjammed, and he's actually blasting the Blackbird right now. So this is, I think he's going to go down. Blackbirds are very switchy, unless he gets a lucky jam off like right now.
He's half stretcher. He's gone. He's gone. Okay, that's really good news for the 420 team.
Completely switched the match around. Like, now this Leshak is like, all right, time to ramp up to 3,000 DPS. Have fun.
And he's going to be hitting things pretty much perfectly, I think, the sort of targets he's going to want to go for.
Those Vexes are right on top of the hostile the Oneros from the other team. Do you think it's really seeming to push and pressure them right now?
Yeah, I think that it's probably nuded down, and it's going to be difficult. I do think that the Leshak and the Vindicator... so the Vindicator's actually... Let me make sure. I think the Vindicator is... Yeah, Vindicator's shooting at the Oneros. But I'm not sure. He looks like he probably is in range. So that Oneros is going to die. The Slice Oneros is going to die to the Vindicator and all of that other crap on him. It looks like the Leshak is just all ending on the Hyperion and is burning through him right now. So, I mean, they kind of got the best case scenario. Like, the jam changes that let the Leshak blast the Blackbirds. So it's like, oh, well, you're... Okay, I guess you're going to jam me, so I'll shoot my laser at you instead. And like I said, they have stupid range and tracking. Like, I think it's a good thing you made Leshak's 25 points.
Yeah, I mean, even at 25 points, they're still really overpoweredly strong, probably. But, you know, the ban system is there. If you don't want to deal with them, you can just ban them out. And they can't be a flagship this year. So, if you don't want to deal with Leshak, just ban them out. And that's kind of one reason I wasn't too worried about having them as low points. Like, arguably, they could be 30 points and still be ridiculously good, I think. In the right hands.
Yeah, the Vindicator actually went off the Oneros for a bit. I think he thought that the Oneros was dead, and so he swapped off of him and started shooting something else, and the Oneros started catching back up. But
there's a ton of nukes coming out of those Vexes, though. I don't think he's going to be doing much.
They're going to take him down eventually, but like they really are splitting DPS, and this Vindicator should have just finished the Oneros off instead of... Because the thing with the Vindicators is once they... Like, if they are being tackled... they can just web the thing that's tackling them and kill them in like 3 seconds. That's where you have seen for years and years and years. And the Oneros goes down, Hyperion goes down. Like, I mean, the Leshak wins, but again, looking at the piloting for this, it's like, okay, well, you're tackling a Vindicator, but the Vindicator can turn and kill you. Like, if he was in range of the Oneros, he could have finished the Oneros off and then probably killed this Eos, and then killed the Hyperion in the same amount of time it took for them to do 2 of them. Like, they're that good.
Yeah, this is definitely a situation where having an undermanned comp did not help them. They didn't have any. They didn't. Those Punishers just slipped straight past them, pinned down the Logi, and then the Vexes got through as well because there's nothing to stop the Vexes either. And then you've got 2 Vexes and a Punisher neuting out and putting drones on your Logi, which is stressing it out while big things are taking care of your big things. It's like that. Yeah, this is a really good setup to kill Slice's team, and looks like MLG have executed it perfectly. I don't think they've lost a ship yet. Oh, their Guardian's gone. I don't know if you walked off or...
I don't know what he did. I don't think he was ever being shot, but honestly, I was too busy watching the Leshak because I was
just gone.
I think he was disconnected or something. Yeah,
he just decided he didn't want to be on grid anymore. I don't think he actually died.
He's like, you guys have got this without me.
Let's see. No, he did die.
Oh, he did.
Let's see, where did he die?
Wow, okay, I missed that.
He was like on top of. Okay, he was in a really stupid spot.
So I guess this heavy drones from those EOSs probably just.
He just EOSs and then got killed.
Wow. Okay.
Like, so where he is dead is right next to the Oneros wreck.
Yeah, I just abandoned the Rex. You should see in blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely missed that. Sorry about that. But yeah, so that
you trying to hold the Vexes, maybe you pulled a bit too close in and just got evaporated.
Yeah, so that did give Slice a slight advantage there, but they're just getting run over by these battleships now at this point. They've only got 1 EOS, 1 Absolution, and a Thorax left who can't really do anything. They're trying to take out these Punishers, but even though they do, that's only a couple of points off the field. It's not going to, it's not going to win the match at all.
I think this is the first time we've seen that comp lose
this
today. Not like
today,
overall,
but
today. Yeah, I mean it's been very successful so far. That Oneros pilot, to be fair, is an excellent Logi pilot. I'm sure there are a lot out there, but he is pretty damn good, to be fair. So it's always interesting to see when he gets dumped on.
Yeah, it's not.
It wasn't his fault.
Yeah.
So 10 tackle him. You're not getting away from that unless the people going after you are like actually bad this game. So, like I said, it was a good showing. This is interesting because if the jam changes weren't if let's say you go back a couple years where if you're jammed you can't do anything.
Yep.
I think that Slice wins this fight instead.
Because the Shack couldn't return fire on that Blackbird, and he might well have just tanked all day long.
And the Blackbird did get too close to the Leshak. I mean, yeah. He was in range of the Maison. I'm almost positive. Obviously depending on fit, and it's a stupid damage. You're not going to tank that with a Blackbird unless you have an Oneros that's able to overheat reps on you, and even then it's like, no, I don't know.
Yeah, still a Vindicator on grid as well.
Yeah.
So Vlad Stoller, their team captain from Slice, will be the last ship to explode for them. They did manage to take out Punisher, but they have lost the match. And congrats MLG on. So MLG have lost 2 and won 1. They're doing pretty well. They won 2, didn't they? They beat No Vacancies as well. So MLG getting 200 points here. They lost the first match without losing anything. Goonswarm got 143 points so far. No Vacancies. Slice have ended up with... I haven't seen yet because we added up the points from this match. But Slice has got a good amount of points. They haven't 100-0'd at all. No Vacancies have only got 34 points. They could... So if they absolutely hammer Vacancies... Goonswarm in the next match, then they won't come sixth. They won't come fourth. So they really need to beat Goonswarm. Just walk into the next arena, and we'll see the last match of tonight, which is No Vacancies versus Goonswarm.
Oh, the cool thing is, No Vacancies is bringing a different comp than we've seen from anybody so far. I think this is actually a Newt control comp because I'm seeing 2 Armageddons and an Ashimu.
Ooh. Which, if Goonswarms have brought the Paladins, that's good. So
only Armageddon.
Okay, so my guess is that they're hoping the Goonswarm have brought the double Paladin comp because Paladins don't want to face that many nukes.
It's interesting to see an Ashimu because they're really cool ships, but they're super squishy, given that they're just T1 without, nice shiny T2 resists of some of the AT ships and bits and pieces like that.
Yeah, and the Ashimu is running a. It looks like 3 beam, 2 Newt setup, or 2 NOS. And I'd guess they're probably NOSes because it's an Ashimu, so it's not a full Newt Ashimu. So, there's a Skybreaker.
Oh, we've got a switch. Okay, so looks like Goons have switched setups.
Well, Goons are running. I want to see what the Nighthawk is. I have to wait till he lands. But and a Rattlesnake. Okay.
Okay.
Dude, Rattlesnakes are great, really well. Let's see. Nighthawk is running. Nighthawk. I think those are rapid lights on him. So they're running a mega rapid light setup with a Hugin and bombers. So.
Yeah, I think we sort of teamed up before Rapid Lights on Nighthawk. I wouldn't. Personally, that's not something I would have thought of, I guess. Well, I guess it might cross my mind, but I guess they do get a lot of bonuses to missiles in general. What's the it's been that long since I've flown a Nighthawk. So they don't get a bonus to rapid heavies, so they're not going to be doing a great amount of damage. Why would you bring rapid rapid lights?
We'll check. I think that he might have the wrong missiles on. Because the Claymore's running, the Claymore's running hams. So I'm kind of like, wait a second.
Just want to give a quick shout out to the Ravis Dank team who've just helped clean the arena. Thank you very much. It's much appreciated.
Okay, no, those are rapid. They're heavy assaults. I think.
Right.
Yeah, they just looked kind of funky. The ship skin, man, messed me up. I think. I don't know. I'm open to mark it up. Hold on.
Oh, wrong team twice.
Okay, no, I'm sticking to it. The Nighthawk has rapid lights on it, but the Claymore is running heavy assaults. So I don't really know what they're doing with that exactly. The Rattlesnake is running cruises, by the way, which is pretty fun.
I mean, that's pretty normal given the range it gives them over the entire arena, especially with the sentries combined with that. The DPS is still disgusting on those things at that level.
I'm very confused why I've locked targets on there. Oh, because the colours don't change. Sorry, just some terrible production problems there, because if you change standings after you've locked ships, that doesn't help your brain.
Teams are ready. It's going to be our final match.
My question is for this, as we're going into it. So from what I understand, the Skybreaker, that's the it's a little teeny tiny ship, right? But it's really tanky.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a little frigate that's super tanky. So it's probably just a tackle, because I know they have some kind of chain lightning laser thing, but from what I looked at, they don't really have that much DPS.
No, they do very low DPS. It is, it does chain to things. It's got a sort of semi-viable use for shooting drones. If ECM, it's got enough damage to chew through ECM drones. So if you shoot an enemy logistics ship, it can chew through logistics drones, or a friendly ship even you can actually shoot to chew through ECM drones. But we've actually seen them, I think the majority of the time we've seen Skybreakers fit without a weapon system and just using all that power grid for extra tank, because they get 6% per level tank bonus, which I think is the only frigate to do that. So they are very, very tanky.
So Goon started off by shooting the Ashimu, and they actually did a pretty solid chunk of damage to it right off the bat. I think that one of them was shooting the wrong target. We actually got MJDs going in from both of the Armageddons towards the back line, and I think they might land directly on top of that Scimitar, or really damn close. See, one of those MJDs was good. One of them kind of sucked, but Frequency landed directly on top, and he's got his full rack and newts hitting that Scimitar right now. So that was a really solid MJD play on their part.
That Tyrannus, he's going to cut in. The Tyrannus swinging around the back there to try and pin him down, but I don't know if it's going to be enough, really, because the Ogres are on. Okay, the Ogres are coming out now. but they're going to have to travel quite a bit of extra distance because the Randers was late.
Yashimu does go down, so they did finish that off. But yeah, that Scimitar's hard tackled, and he's neuted out, so I would not expect him to live very long.
Tyrannus is just melted, though.
Yeah.
Away now.
The Scimitar has not turned his MWD back on, though, even though he's not tackled. So there he just was able to get a single cycle going, so he's accelerating forward again. One of the Geddons is getting wrecked. The problem with MJDing that far is you MJD away from all of your Logi as well. So, Goons are making the right play and taking out a Geddon by himself, but that Scimitar's holding pretty well too. Yeah, he's free of the nets. So it was a really cool attempt, but I think they're going to regret it.
What I'm confused about now, there was this people there who crossed the path of that Scimitar. From my point of view, maybe I was wrong. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong actually. My point of view, he's like out there tackling a Skybreaker, which is a tackle ship, when he should be tackling that Scimitar to make sure it didn't get away. Because now the Scimitar is free, and you see he's going faster than the ogres that are chasing it, so he's fine.
Yeah, and the Eos just got dumpstered by the Nighthawk, or not the Oneers just got dumpstered by the Nighthawk. So, I mean, yeah. I don't know. I was watching his people clearly orbiting at 5K with an MWD on his target, which is not good piloting. Sorry, buddy. They're like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah, this leaves it really badly for no vacancies now. When there are Armageddons and hard structure, Pontifex just died. They're down to 5 ships already, and Goonswarm is sitting there with everything they started with.
Yeah, Goonswarm might lose the Skybreaker. He is a bit out of position.
Ooh, a Hound just got caught and exploded pretty quick. So they have lost 2 ships now, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
Yeah, the Sweeples are now doing what they're supposed to do in this situation, which is basically go after the small stuff that's kind of far away and solo it, because Sweeples are still, even though they've been nerfed probably like 30 times since they first came out, they still do a ton of DPS, and they're pretty fast. So now they're doing what they're supposed to do, but they really should have started off by doing that, which is basically not only counter screening, but counter screening and killing stuff. They can solo pretty much almost all of the other frigate and destroyer hulls in the game if they catch them. And that Armageddon's going down now to the Rattlesnake and all of the other fun stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty much a cleanup here now for the Goonswarm. That's a pretty well executed play by them, and their Rattlesnake's just making very quick work of these remaining ships. Oh, they have lost another Hound though. Didn't need to lose that.
It's always amusing to watch ships that seem to be, absolutely fine, full health, and then suddenly deleted. It's immensely satisfying.
Not when you're in the ships, though, I'm afraid.
Very fair point.
Yeah, and Novak's people just got killed. I think, like I said, he was running around doing little solo PvP stuff, and he was like, okay, you know what? You're making us have to reship more. This isn't fair.
Quite impressed with what we've seen from Goons. I mean, this is their first opens from this tournament, right?
Yeah.
They've done pretty good, actually. Solid comps. You're seeing great understanding of what the meta has been, at least in these opens, and they're executing.
Yeah, pretty. Their team captain Dirk, I know he's taking it pretty seriously, and they've already had internal practices as well, I've been told. So they've come with some pre-prepared ideas, and they've got a game plan, which always helps. And yeah, they're practicing finality on the side. If you've got, is it 30,000 characters in your alliance? You must be able to find 10 that are good pilots, right?
Hope.
So if you can get those 10 together, who are good pilots, then you can get them coordinated and on the same plan, and you throw some good theory crafting behind it, then there's no reason why Goons can't do really well. They definitely got the potential, and they're just killing this last EOS now. Lexi's going to be totaling up the points on the side here. We'll see how we'll be able hopefully be able to figure out which team's done best tonight, because we've, like I said, if you missed the beginning of the show, so we had 4 teams tonight, so we kind of organised a round robin session for them all, so they've all played each other once, and we've been keeping track of the points, so we'll be able to tell you who's done best out of those 4. But they've all shown up and been excellent sports. Wrath, what's been your favourite comp that you've seen today?
I do really like the triple command ship, Hyperion, and Era setup with the couple of cruisers or the 3 cruisers in there. I love that it's an underpowered team, and they've really been pulling their weight against teams with more members. It's just been really enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, like a team that on paper shouldn't work being successful is always quite fun.
Yeah, particularly as you mentioned, how they are lacking dedicated anti-tackle. They've got the Thorax there, they've got the Omen, which are capable of tackling and they're capable of screening, but not to the same degree a dedicated ship is. So it's always interesting to watch a team make that work for them.
Yeah, so all the teams had 3 matches each. We're just totaling up the matches now. I'll post them on Discord. Ready? I should have had my OBS out ready to screen capture, but I haven't, and I'll not do that now because I'm bound to screw it up. So.
Oh yeah, I typed them out for you on that sheet.
Okay, cool. So we've got Goon Swarm with 243 points. They come in as the winners this week, which is pretty cool. 420 MLG with 200 points. Slice with 190 points in 3rd place. And no vacancies. Unfortunately, they lost 3 matches, but they did get some points. They got 41 points, so pretty cool to see. I'll write that out and pop it on our Discord for those who missed it. BBP, really good to hear your voice again, dude, and thanks for coming. Fingers crossed you'll be able to commentate for us for the actual tournament as well.
I'll go take the time off, and hopefully nobody does anything dumb. We'll see what happens, though. I mean, it is after November, so we might be on fire at the time.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. I didn't actually factor in the US election, but I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wrath and Lexi, thank you very much for helping tidy up here. And refereeing it behind makes my job a ton easier. It means I get to just chat and enjoy the fights more, which is really cool. And yeah, thanks to all the teams that came along and took part. I think we'll wrap it up for tonight in this one. Anyone's got anything else to add?
Sponsor?
So Kellon Darklight, shout out to him. I think he's currently flying for the Tuskers. He sold a gold magnate and gave all the money to charity. Was it 1 trillion-esque? I forget. I think it was 1 trillion-esque he sold it for. A very rare ship. There's only a handful of them in the game. He won one for winning the Mar tournament in around about 2016, I think. Yeah, he sold it and gave it as charity. And because he gave 1 trillion-esque through the Plex for Good, I can't remember which Plex for Good it was. I think it might be the Australian Fire one. He got these Frontier Safeguard, the Fire in-game item clothes, and he's given some to me to give out. So thank you very much to Cullen. And I'll be contracting to the teams later. So any last shout-outs?
Just telling people to keep on docking.
Cool. And with that, we'll call it a night, and hopefully see you next week.